If you're looking for things to do in Curacao when you're there on a cruise and you don't want to book an excursion, I've got some great ideas for you. I'm going to show you what we did that my family really enjoyed and some other options that are really close to the cruise port that I think that you're going to like. Of course, before you can do anything in Curacao, you do have to get out of the cruise port area first. And this one is kind of a long walk, guys. I'm going to put an arrow on the screen here to show you how far you have to walk before you're exiting the cruise port area. The exit is a few hundred feet past those white tents that you see there. I'm not sure if every cruise line does this, but when we were there, Royal Caribbean had people answering questions pretty close to the ship right there so that you don't walk too far without figuring out what's going on. Of course, all of the buses that pick you up for excursions are in this area too. But like I already said, we didn't book an excursion for Curacao, so we were on our own. We made the long walk down, and luckily when we got to the end of that walk, there is a nice little shopping area that you can explore. So this is outside of the cruise port area. You'll find sort of like a small mall, really. They sell clothing that you would want to wear to work, school, whatever. All of the tourist trap shops seem to be inside of the cruise port itself. So if you get past that area, you'll be in sort of like an outdoor mall area that you can walk around. They actually look like they were selling nice clothes in these stores. So if you enjoy shopping, this area isn't huge, but you can check it out. They have shoes, some jewelry shops, and a lot of clothing stores. Some brands that you might recognize from the United States, and a few that were probably locally owned shops. But everything looked really nice. It was like an outdoor shopping mall that you'd find anywhere in the U.S. Just past this shopping area, you'll find the historic Riff Fort. While it still looks like a fort from the outside, the inside is actually a ton of great restaurants, coffee shops, ice cream shops, stuff like that for tourists to go explore. We stopped here for some lattes and smoothies on our way to the taxi stand, and I have to say I really love this area. They have all of the seating is mostly covered in shade, so you can be out there with your drink or your food and still enjoy the day. After looking at a map of Curacao, we decided to go to the Curacao Sea Aquarium, so we needed a taxi. There's a taxi stand just outside of the Riff Fort near the Queen Emma Bridge. You can see that Queen Emma Bridge here through this porthole in the fort. There's a taxi stand on either side of that bridge. We ended up crossing the bridge just because we wanted to see what it was like to walk across this floating bridge. But you can get the taxi on either side. It cost us $25 to get from the bridge to the Curacao Sea Aquarium. Make sure before you get inside of the taxi that you ask them exactly how much it's going to cost. The taxi that we took back from the aquarium, I think, was $30. So it will vary a little bit based on what kind of a taxi it is, who's running it, and what they want to charge. So always make sure that you are okay with paying whatever it is before you get in the taxi. The taxi ride was just about 10 or 15 minutes away from the cruise port, so not long at all. Before going into the park, we decided to eat at a restaurant that was right outside of the park. I'm not sure if it belonged to a hotel or what, but they had great pizza and a really cool view of the beach around the area. So I looked it up later and I found out that we were actually right next to Mambo Beach, which is one of the touristy areas that you can go if you want to have a beach day instead. Apparently there's a bunch of shops and other restaurants there too. There's our cruise ship in the background. So this is a good spot for checking out the aquarium or going to have a beach day. This actual area that you're looking at here with just a few people in it, though, that is a private resort area. So Mambo Beach is actually just the next beach area right next to it. So it'll have the similar water, similar vibe, but it might be more crowded. A new friend showed up while we were eating lunch, but after finishing up our pizza, we headed over to the Curacao Sea Aquarium. It's $15 entry for adults and $7 for kids. This aquarium isn't huge, but it is really nice and fun. We enjoyed our time there. We happened to be there during nurse shark feeding time and dolphin training time, so that was really nice to see. I think overall, this is the kind of place where you can spend like an hour and a half, 2 hours, enjoy the afternoon there, and go back to your ship or do a little shopping, whatever else you want to do during your stay at Curacao. We were really happy that we went to this aquarium for the afternoon, but if you want some other ideas of things to do around Curacao when you're there, I have a few other things that I think are worth checking out, and if I was back in Curacao, I would definitely do these. First up is Mondi City Beach. It just opened in the spring of 2025. It's right there in front of the cruise ship. You still do have to walk all the way down to the right off of the port and get out of the gate and walk all the way back to it. But you can get a day pass there for $50 per person, and that does include lunch and a drink and a sunbed. So that's a nice close beach, and as you can see, the water here is amazing. There was sea turtles swimming around, tons of fish, so if you're into snorkeling, you have a mask, take that with you when you go there for the day. So that's a great option if you're in Curacao. Another great option is right next to this, actually. It's the Curacao Riff Mangrove Park. There are a bunch of walking trails inside of this park, and there's also a waterway trail inside of the park. So you can pay entry and walk around the park and just look at the wildlife that's in there. Or you can also do a kayaking tour, which I saw people on, and it looked really, really cool. So you kayak through the little mangrove area. Again, this is the kind of thing that's going to be just a couple of hours of your day. But if you want to get out and explore just a little bit of Curacao before you get back on the cruise ship, I like to do fun adventure-y things like this. So kayaking through that little mangrove park would have made me really happy. I think I've mentioned 5 things to do in Curacao. We loved our time at Curacao Sea Aquarium, but there are some other options there. It's a great place to visit. The water is amazing. So I hope this helped you figure out what you want to do with your time while you're there. Let me know if you have any questions. Put them in the comments below. I do try to answer them whenever I get a chance. And have fun on your trip, guys.